Welcome to the stream.
G2 have come close to glory at Masters before, but close is no cigar. Here they have to get over these rough and tumble upstarts who were born to play this fast-paced game. Double Duelist is the bread and butter for Nongshim, and you better believe alongside that they'll be serving up only the spiciest of dishes.
This meta was made for Nongshim. These players that have grinded together to make it to Pacific, to win it out without losing a match. Now this question, can G2, the team who's had to adapt, change the way they play, be the ones to humble this squad and make another top 3?
And it doesn't matter what year we're in, I feel like everybody, there's still a group of people that are praying in G2's downfall, being like, oh, they were never that good, oh, we all knew that they were going to fail. And today they can prove that wrong, moving on to that upper semifinal, getting those days off to prepare for their opponent. And it's either PRX or NRG would not be an easy one, but first the hurdle that is ahead. They were already able to take T1 down. Can they do the same with a team like Nongshim? As you're saying, Mimi, incredibly fast in their pace. What is the approach that they're going to take as we take a look, again, as the maps that we're going to see today? Abyss with the start, as we're saying, for me, G2 and the way the Valiant plays with that Harbor can actually work very good for them and against the double duelist for Nongshim.
It's an underwhelming start to this tournament for G2. That PRX matchup, they weren't able really to show what they were capable of, and then since then, they maybe had a softer strength of schedule. Here's the real test now. Have they been able to, convalesce after their first showing here in Santiago and bring us their A game? They're going to need every inch of it here.
If you look at the way that they want to play, I don't think the teams that G2 have beaten are that different than Nongshim. You look at T1, you look at All Gamers, they're also going for that aggressive double duelist style. But what makes them different than this Nongshim team is the execution, the individual level that has been shown at this tournament. It's only been one game for Nongshim. It was a close one at that, but they showed that their key players could be just as good as they were regionally here on this stage, and that means they're immediately an opponent that demands respect.
Some of those moments on Abyss from G2 against AG were poetry in motion. That play over towards A main where there's a convergent path, there's a Hunter's Fury, they follow it up. It looks beautiful. No plan, though, survives first contact with a team like Nongshim Red Force. It looked pretty. Everything lined up for G2, but there wasn't a whole lot of pressure on them. Not this level of pressure.
Certainly, but it's such a good map for them to start on. Playing that Harbor comp where they've looked excellent on defense with their retakes, on attack side with the way they're fighting up in the post plan and varying their controller utility to give different places to fight within on these sites. It's against an Nongshim who don't get their star player on his best role. This is the only map where we will not see Dombi play the Neo.
Yeah, and you also bring up a very interesting point, and speaking about the post plans for G2, are we even going to get to that point? I wonder how Nongshim is going to not only deal with the Harbor, they decided to start on the defense, and they have only played this map once in the entirety of the year. It was not until the final that they played this Abyss. The defense was actually pretty good. They were stopping RRQ a lot on their entries. That's why I'm thinking if the plan for G2 is to play for those post plans and maybe be a little bit extra aggressive, I wonder how prepared Nongshim are going to be to go up against it, because they have already 2 showings of this composition and how they play this map in this tournament alone.
That game against RRQ over in Pacific was interesting because both teams got more of those defense side of rounds than you kind of expect them to. Nongshim won the pistol there and got on a decent run.
Yeah, actually,
early.
Jemkin was doing a lot on the defense. I think that's maybe one of the reasons where we should look at Jogamo and that having the impact. Watch out, especially as Nongshim is starting on the defense. I think that they got too eager by the end of their half, just being a little bit too proactive, going for duels that did not favor them, and just overheating.
Yeah, I think that if there was a really positive thing to take away from that map in Pacific, it was how they dealt with Jemkins off on the attack side. On all the maps of that final, they had really good prep of how to navigate around that and nullify who was far and away the most fearsome player on that RRQ roster. But G2 played so different from RRQ. This is an Nongshim who won't have likely played against this composition involving the Harbor in play. So it's a question of what they've prepped up.
Astra and Harbor here for G2.
Interesting hover from Dombi.
I was going to say.
He was in the waylay.
He was.
Oh, yeah. What is
Did you see Thurston Harbour?
Does he want to give himself those little alcoves, the cloudbursts to dive into on the side as opposed to rely on setup? Because usually Omen and Astra will always give you a bubble to jump into.
Yeah, that's why I don't think that is likely the reason they're picking it. I don't even know if it's going to be real. You see him hovering back to the Neon. Most of the time,
with us.
you would play the Jet because you wanted to op on defense, but against his composition, I don't think it's great. And there's the waylay locked in to be expected. Just some bait out of Dombi. It's going to be exciting to see him on that off roll if he can put up anywhere close to his Neon performance on this waylay.
Yeah, and of course he said it in the interview himself. He's going to turn Baby Bay into a crybaby today.
All right, well, we've seen a bit from G2. We know they need to step up. We feel like we're just scratching the surface on this Nongshim Red Force outfit. And to dive into it for us is going to be Pansy and Hypok on the car, so take it away.
Thank you, Mitch and the desk, for leading us here. And I think you're right in how they kind of wrap that up. My eyes are on Nongshim here is how good they look. They've got a big opponent in the form of G2. Where does this lean in your mind?
I mean, it was a slow start for G2. I think as well, seeing particularly Baby Bay kind of find a bit more form, but I still don't think we're seeing 100% for both him and Jorgamo.
I agree.
For me, the highlight here has been around Trent and Valen. I think they've been super clutch for G2, solid pair of hands, but unfortunately it's going to need all five to come online here versus Nongshim because they are playing with terrifying pace.
They look solid. I think a lot of us were waiting to see if it would translate as well as it had, at least in the first series. Obviously, taking down mates is a very respectable score. But already, G2 obviously on the attacking side if you're just tuning in, and obviously that means NS on the defending side, and an early attempt at a fake. But
good catch by Baby Bay.
that's huge, but RB slipped the net for a second. I thought he might have had a second there. He only gets one. They know the plan now, and G2 are here quite quick.
Actually, Baby Bay lurking all the way back through B. Danby here set up, waiting for this smoke now. Trent shouldering the angle. Solid hold here, but actually Danby's going to find a headshot.
They might need to speed up here, G2. They need to get closer to the site. It's great having Baby Bay on that deeper lurk, but still, with NS winning out fights on the site like this, it's going to turn things on its head. Luckily, Valen's still on the case, getting body checked here, but Valen, oh my word, he's holding space, gets caught, but does they know where Baby Bay might be? I think he's got a good idea, but the HP, the defining factor. Baby Bay going to shut down round one and give G2 the first.
The pistol for Baby Bay again. Crucial he doesn't get caught on the retreat here. I think Nongshim already sniffing out. This is a bit of a fake.
Yeah.
RB, I'm kind of with you. Almost teed up for a second here with the shorty, but a crucial kill as you saw there in a replay from Baby Bay. Just to trim the fat a little bit, make it a little easier in this post plant. And again, particularly talking about the pace and something that early on here in Santiago, G2 looked as if they were caught off guard repeatedly by PRX. And again, Nongshim, that's the sort of thing we're looking for here. G2 to tighten up some of those setups, particularly in the post, not necessarily here on Abyss, but overall for this side. Leaf here, a ton of bodies on the other side of this. G2 well stacked up behind.
Bit nervous in these rounds, but calm and composed from G2, and that's what we need to be seeing, really, is playing to that level of diligence. Hello, and goodbye. Nice little attempt there, all good. Gonna pass with flying colours so far. Easy Tiger, as we...
A recurring trend.
Yeah. That one I feel a bit more intentional, perhaps.
An early 2-0 lead here for G2.
Comfy stuff. It looks good. Again, when I look at G2, I find it really hard to kind of put them in a box of form, right? Because the potential in this roster has always been just unreal. It's just trying to activate it at the same time.
The curse, obviously still present in
all of our minds.
Well, yeah, I was going to say the fans, but everyone.
Into the unknown.
See here, first buy round 4, Nongshim. So a heavy focus towards mid here. 4 players position, and Jorgamo just removes Francis for free.
There's a lot more bodies behind that, but still.
Oh!
That's unreal! Where have you got 2 from? The first, I mean, the control.
It looked like it was off with the crosshair placement as well. RB in mid now going to find Jorgamo. Just 2 left standing for G2. Leaf and Trent left to try and recover here.
Can't use that yet.
Mate, these boys are gunners. That's lovely stuff. Okay.
It was Ivy previously on Haven just went absolutely bonkers.
Well, him and Dambi have just kind of won hearts and minds, right? It's kind of seeing that potential carry on is just so sick to see. Now, to be fair to G2, I think timing might be an issue for Leaf. I don't know if he gets caught. He might just get around the corner in time. He does, okay. So they should be able to get a plant and maybe be a little bit threatening about the round, but a 2v4 is a lot to ask for when you've got Bulldogs. And obviously the other side sitting quite nicely with Util and the buy.
Do have a bit of space to play into, though, with Trent making progress all the way
Don't fall.
in towards, take your time. Oh, he's spotted, though.
You're down
And he
there.
fell anyway. He fell anyway.
Okay, Leaf, at least gonna get the plant. Ooh. At least gonna get the plant. That'll be fine, but man, show me those first couple of shots from Ivy. That was pretty sensational stuff.
Micro adjustment there. Like I said, the crosshair placement ever so slightly off, but...
Oh, that second. The spacing's not even bad from G2. You can't even really fault them on that. Yeah, shake that one off. All good.
So Nongshim will find a response early here. Yeah, let's see. Ambi. Just 2 away from Ultimate already on the side of G2. Decent progress across the board. Everybody about past halfway. Unlikely to see anything here in round 4. Unless we get a big round from Dambi.
Could do. And I think this is when my interest in kind of Baby Bay's form, obviously Jaw's form as well, just keeps catching my eye. Because I think we've seen a massive upswing from Baby Bay as well. At least from the first game where we saw it to now, it's starting to find a bit more form. But I do think there are some serious gunners on NS, so just be a little bit cautious. Now this time around, it's going to be Francis up on those rafters waiting. Close corner holding by Ivy. Gonna try and greet that front line. Baby Bay gonna slip the net, but only for a second. Couldn't quite get back in time, but Francis gonna just control the space here, and that pop towards sight looking a little flat.
Already seen the intention here from Nongshim to contest this first layer. Both duelists now removed, and RB gonna follow up here onto Trent.
I wouldn't be trying to bring him into a brawl. The Nongshim guys look sharp. So Leaf and Valor not being given much of a chance to fight back in. You're looking for mistakes, right? Opportunities to maybe bring a player down, give yourself some slightly better odds here, but Nongshim aren't massively overextending. They're putting a lot of faith in Dambi to hold the other side of the map. They can draw those other players back towards top middle, but Valen unable to pin him down. He's just being toyed with now.
Being though, on the other side, Leaf slipped a little further forwards.
Well, I like the extreme space. Yeah, that's gorgeous. And that's the spike, right? Like, I like that they got proactive there and they didn't fight towards that kind of, I guess, deeper B main approach. Nongshim looked very well balanced in my eyes. This has been nice amounts of firepower, good discipline, no overextension, and kind of happy to greet G2 on the door.
Well, this is the thing, switching up the defensive formation a couple of times now, just not even really in anticipation of G2 making changes, but again, showing clear intent. They're not willing to back away, hard anchor sights and look for retakes. Very happy to dig their heels in. See an early timeout here, ahead of round 5 for G2. So it will be a lesser purchase to follow this. No ultimates available immediately for them, so in terms of coming out of this, probably just a moment to check in. See the Coinbase win condition here, ahead of round 5, probably preventing Nongshim from really building up a cushion here. They're about a round away from this first ult cycle coming to fruition, so G2 can do any damage here, maybe just force some repurchases. Make it a little uncomfortable while we're tied up to a piece.
Yeah, I'm just interested now to see what the game plan is from G2, because I haven't seen mistakes from Nongshim. They just look solid, right? Like, this isn't like a cheesy look. I know, you know, the double duelists love it or hate it. It's here to stay. They just look very controlled. As you said, they haven't done any massive changes either in these initial couple of rounds, round 3 and 4, a couple of little switch-ups on the site. But again, just seeing that little proactive re-clear in middle, making sure that Dambi was never going to be alone on that in case he got isolated towards that vent, kind of slipped towards A. They were instantly there, making sure that was already controlled. Yeah, he gave a bit of space to Leaf, but it's not the end of the world. He couldn't really achieve too much on the B site alone without the spike. So again, already really nice reactions. This puts really the question to G2 of what do you have in mind now? Can you activate Jorgamo? Can you activate Baby Bay? Again, a little bit of a different setup. Envy this time, the one, not necessarily solo, RB is here. But they have to be ready to handle that first player room, which is going to be Baby Bay, and they decide to kind of leave him to his own devices. Handled by, again, Ivy is just so in control, looking very cool, calm, and collected, but they have slipped mid. They don't know about this yet, and now they certainly do. Jaw going to claim a little bit of space and open up a chances towards the A side. Danby the one who's going to be on red alert, feeling all that pressure. But look at the proactivity on the other side of the map. This is, again, very, very good. They are not really resting on their laurels.
Danby, I think he's going to be tested here. Might just be able to
Can he live?
exist for the time being. He might be able to catch his transition into main.
But this is stunning. Even if he goes down, look at the time he's buying for this flank and this rotation. It's not really even a flank at this time. But again, for G2 to navigate that, to not over-pressure the point, but Trent's vulnerable here. He's very alone, it allows for a trade. But they're making something of this round. They put the pressure back towards Nongshim, and maybe this position now becomes a bit more readable. There's no pressure coming towards Jogmo. He sees nothing towards that CT side. So they can keep this sort of presence here towards A main. Valen, lovely control on the corner. And Francis, not gonna have a say. G2 making it work. MasterCard thrifty there in their hands, and they really worked the map on that.
Absolutely. I mean, Danby, as you said, able to buy a lot of time, but it's very one-dimensional approach there, and barely even getting past the first player. I mean, the fact that Trent's able to get away with finding this first here just allows G2 to read the situation towards CT. They know then Alan can challenge here.
Let's go, boys.
Great response found by G2 coming out of the timeout. First instance, really, of Nongshim being caught on the back foot. He said positives elsewhere in terms of being proactive, but G2 just followed through.
And I like this reaction, though, from G2. Maybe understanding the operator could be in play, so a fast mid-piece. Oh! Ivy! Gonna send back to the next round, basically, at this point. Quick pick on that. And then they kind of rescind away. You've still got that three-play pack over towards that deeper T side of things. Leaf feeling that there is someone trying to work A main, so they're going to work this together. The deeper owl drone coming in, and RB.
He's going to hurt this, yeah.
Committed. Valen didn't get the shot he wanted on that spray either.
Francis not yet moving outside B. Danby going forwards here, lethal punish.
Oh, it's messy, and G2's just discipline and their ability to wait for Nongshim to try and make some move.
Oh, this is an issue now.
Francis still has a way out of there for a couple more seconds. He wants to drop a body. He wants something on his side.
He's going to TP right under Jorgamo, though.
Oh, it's a missed shot, and there is the punishment. You had one chance to make it count. And now G2 looking to get their fourth here. Highly likely.
30 seconds left.
Really have a way back into this. 5 strong for G2. We'll be seeing the consideration here of X-Ross. Noted here, but again, with G2 just hold on to. We're flipping the thrifty. They could throw a couple of bodies to remove this. I mean, look at what's left. It's only really Danby that's protected in terms of the finances here.
Maybe just reaction from G2 this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only real issue here is, like I said, Francis' position. He's not an operator. It's maybe one. At that point, you've got to credit Jorgamo for actually being proactive on 30 HP and going hunting.
So, as you said, as you rightly noted, the economy a little bit lighter behind Nongshim. And after this timeout, G2 have started to really get the tempo right. It feels like the read is there, starting to manipulate maybe the overall one of information.
Yeah, is this just kind of like, I mean, by the way, Trent, the presence of mind to still come barreling out the window here to bait out the possibility. But yeah, maybe just a kind of frantic mid-round call because RB's spotted on the end of the TP. But a couple of weird walkouts here. Again, I think maybe catching an extra player because they're trying to compensate for RB's position. They're going to invest here, but it's all a fake. We see where the spike is. It's just to draw bodies here in the anti-eco.
They're biting on this, though, and you feel like they have to because they're on that right to purchase. So Baby Bay gets to farm a little bit. One. He's all pretty much alone here. How much damage can one man do? All right, Mr. Charisma. He's got 3. Just farming up the ecos until then. Danby is going to go down regardless and then come back around. Why not after the level of success the Baby Bay had? He's created that safety for the plant. And now they wait for the catch on X-Ross, who is on the other
Baby just used his ult. He's already halfway back, so able to find value here. The round will follow, obviously. Looking very comfortable. It's only Valin missing 1 point in terms of having every other ult available. Damage here doesn't even really matter. You look at what's behind this for G2.
That's nice.
On the first, though.
Well, it's nice to not feel shut out of
Yeah.
the game, I guess. You know, and a couple shots. Don't think much else will happen, but, you know, feels good. Thanks, Ross. Yeah, they've already backed away. So, getting himself free. Vandal.
And they're letting him know. That's why he's going back to chat. He's just faking. He's just faking as if he's going to go forwards. Now we'll give it up.
There we go. So going to keep the Vandal and move on. But G2's solution has been working wondrously. And maybe it is just overreactions from Nongshim as well to a degree. I feel like they bite pretty heavy on some of these side takes. I was kind of complimenting how proactive they were, but I want to see the balance of understanding when it's that full commitment and when it's not.
Trent impressed from the back lines. Switch up once more. We'll leave Ivy tasked with holding down the B side. G2 actually poised towards mid and A, but again look towards top mid. There's 4 players initially this way for Nongshim. Do they follow through on this pressure early on?
Oh. Well, Jorgamo's been caught. That's Dumby applying that pressure further, right? Trying to take that aggressive fight, and the right read on rotation, but keep your eye on the spike. That's still slightly moving towards the B site. Can they punish any of these over-rotations that Nongshim seem to be getting caught on here?
Haven't conceded a player yet, so Nongshim happy to go forwards outside of A. There's a little bit of pressure, and Ivy actually steps back into the spray.
I'm so surprised he went back for that. He was the solo player on the B site. He had to play really, really cautiously. So now with the plant in play, they pretty much evened the score up. And look at the ults that G2 have to play with.
Leaf's heard this.
Leaf's heard all of this. Now they are clearing middle, but how aware is RB? A little asleep at the wheel. Oh, very asleep. Come on, man. You gotta be a little sharper than that. If that's the path you're taking, and now look at what they've got in middle here. Trent gonna catch the cross, joined as well in watching this. Oh, it's just lovely. G2 shouldn't feel any pressure. This is a very good reaction from G2, Mike. I feel like they've got a fantastic beat on the game.
Yeah.
It's not that flashy, it's in the cooling.
Total control on the map right now. Nongshim can't find space to reposition here. Again, they almost gamble on the fact that Valen's able to cut sightlines from so deep with his utility and then be towards B almost instantly on the back of that. It keeps Nongshim interested. And basically being bullied around the map right now. So the number of times we're seeing Nongshim caught in transition, don't even really get a fair fight.
No, and I don't mind the kind of like 3-man start in middle. I think it was even 4 potentially. But then to fully gamble stack on that A rotation and then overpeak on B, you're giving G2 what they want, right? Like after a man loss, you're looking for a pick back ideally, or maybe just gambling on the right side of the map. And the fact they get that is a dream come true. Then you've got the ults to layer in on top if they want to, right? They could always lean towards it. So you'd see Nongshim maybe just get their heads back in the game. They feel a little bit behind the curve here.
Point-based win condition coming out of this. Nongshim timeout has to be around these ultimates. RB the only one missing. And the purchase isn't going to be a full buy. I mean, there's a couple of players buying down, right down to 100 credits, 350 credits here between Francis and RB. So it looks like they want to make a go of things. I mean, at a 6-2 scoreline, you almost have to. And
yeah,
even previously, what was a 9-3 half versus all gamers for G2 on the defense. So really looking to continue that trend regardless of the side. Desperately need to see a response here from Nongshim. And to flip the tempo a little bit on G2. They are in the driving seat right now, but Jorgamo with the right response coming out of their timeout.
Yeah, and look at the amount of space he's been taking here. I need RB to live too. Leaf.
Leaf's going to hear this again.
I think he's hurting.
Right place, right time, once more.
He's done exceptionally well. However, the only difference rate being RB succeeds at holding space on CT. The 3-play pack roaming on those back lines also delivers on the front of Leaf. So we're finally seeing an opportunity now Francis is going to really take no chances. Ult's coming in, take the space, and try and find a way in. Going to pop another ult in for good measure. They are putting everything they have into this. They needed a way to break back in, and this is looking like the solution. Nongshim finally finds some stability after the timeout.
Doubling down on this proactivity. Finally catching G2 off guard. I mean, Leaf in a position where he's set up to potentially find 2 or 3 kills. I think we're going to see... Wow.
Okay.
You can't really fault him for that one.
Let those happen.
Bro, like, come on, man.
Come on, bro.
A little bit of frustration. But again, I mean, G2, in anticipation of this, it's already... The precedent's already been set on the side of Nongshim.
Yeah.
So maybe the frustration there with just a few engagements not going their way. And costly in terms of ultimates there for G2. Still have the Divide and the Hunter's Fury. Francis will be at least identified.
Take flight.
What's the deal with the recon here?
Well, the arm drone. Francis is staying. Okay, thank God for that. I thought he was sticking around for a hell of a long time.
Danby.
Panic
That's
ult?
yeah, that's his old rip there. And
Now
trying to
they've-
follow through now.
Oh, I don't know if I like this. It feels like it's desperate. There's going to be nothing coming out of that the Nongshim want. Danby hell-bent on trying to make it stick, but then Jorgamo.
Similar scenes.
Yeah, what is going on between these two? The battle of middle not really settling happily for either side.
Both teams so willing to set the tone of some of these rounds. Not shy away from these engagements here. Looking towards Leaf in particular once more. Oh, gets a spot. Great trade from Ivy though.
That is really good from Ivy. Bit of a jump scare after the first, but a very patient round from G2. It feels like they're happy just kind of letting this one simmer for a second. It was that kind of reactive play in middle and now kind of congregating together somewhat, but it's a recovery mission for the spike. So you look at where it's heading, it's going to be A. 17 seconds, so they can't really make mistakes here, and Arby's got the paranoia.
That missed smoke should be very telling for Nongshim, but they're still curious towards B.
I'm surprised that they haven't backed away. Full faith in RB, and he can only do so much. G2 have carved a path. They've made something out of nothing in this. I thought they had the right read. Huge deny! I guess they don't need to rotate. They've got Ivy still locked in.
Beautiful catch there to deny the plant. And Nongshim will find number 4.
Oh, it's all smiles.
Yeah, the clock to decide it for them. The very last second as well.
What a chance.
Look at that, he's so close to the plant. A little bit cheeky with it. We'll bring it within 2.
They're going for a biff, aren't they? Just about everyone's here. Oh, that flash is exceptional, but apparently Baby Bay unaffected. Jaw comes back in, and Nongshim in trouble here. It's not stopping though.
Oh,
Arby this time does stand his ground. A refight from Danby. That is just madness at this point. Unwilling to let it settle. And it's cost them the player of an even affair.
RB TP'd forwards, by the way, across the choke to get into the fray of this engagement outside A. G2 cut sound here, look to reaggress towards the choke point. I mean, RB's still here, but only just getting one smoke back now. And Ivy not budging.
Hey, didn't need to last time. Might need it this time. Maybe. Let's see. So, yeah, all towards the A side. This time around, it's Valorant's job to try and get this done. Even the observer's ready, just in case.
Just ready for another star.
Not to be, so RB going to keep a bit of heaven space. But they're playing 2 on site and 1 towards main for G2. They are ready for that drop. Very nicely positioned from G2. And Ivy this time has to be here.
I'll be maybe reading this as a looser hold here, but a little overzealous.
It's a treacherous drop down, isn't it? Look who's waiting. It's probably death on appearance, G2. Okay, this time around, weather the initial storm over towards A main, and then get across the line clean.
Crazy fight.
Yeah.
Comes back to that same point I was saying, both teams are so willing to set the tone in some of these rounds. They don't want to show any weakness when it comes to this sort of pace. And RB's just so bold.
Fine lines, man.
Baby Bay picking up the freebie here, full flash. Up to 7 now for G2. Again, still got Hunter's Fury in a divide. Let's see a more choreographed set piece here towards B.
I think that's exactly what we're getting. But now we just need to see that Ivy doesn't get caught again. Last time he got caught out a little ahead of this. Gonna play just on the line here. This is a really sketchy position. Gonna start respecting it a touch more. Allow G2 the chance to get the plant down. You're looking at the rest of the team now working their way through, but G2, the pennies dropped. They're already looking back towards middle. It's Baby Bay. Maybe right place, right time. Divide gonna go in, and Baby Bay goes forward. It's a mad fight. And now Trent's under pressure. He's being pushed. Danby's got him dead. Leaf now the only backline player. Trying to keep back two. Has to outdo this. What's going on there? That's unfortunate, really. Leaf still trying to keep these guys in check. He's got no chance against them. So Valen left in a 1v3. Francis on 30 HP, but still very much able to get involved here. Valen trying to find a corner, find a player. Can't do it, Danby. Bounds in. It goes for the defuse. NS keeping within touching distance, Mike. They are not out of it yet.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to see it. Nongshim, sorry, get a recovery to 7-5 on the half-year line, but it felt like G2 were in firm control of the majority here.
Very happy to see a resurgence at the very end from Nongshim. Not going to let themselves fall apart in this. Going to keep this one very much close to hand. And keep competitive. You saw it at the end there. Very, very nice stuff. And a confidence builder potentially for Danby. However, Valina is standing in the crowd with Gentlemates, Mini.
Hola Santiago, un aplauso para Mini de Gentlemates. I'm here with Mini from Gentlemates. Mini, do you want to say something to this crowd?
Hola Santiago, hello guys, what's up?
And now Mini, I know it's tough, but I want to know, how is it watching this amazing event from the other side at this time?
I mean, obviously it felt better playing on the stage, but being here, enjoying every last moment I have here, it's amazing and I'm glad to be here.
Definitely. Y bueno, le estuve preguntando también, obviamente es un poco duro estar del otro lado del stage, pero quería saber cómo se está viviendo las partidas también. Y dice que obviamente prefiere estar encima del stage, pero que lo está pasando increíble y que y que quiere aprovechar cada segundito posible acá. So now, also, I want to know for what team are you rooting, but also what team is going to win the Masters, Santiago?
I mean, I'm excited to see Dumby Shotgun on the next two maps. So here, I'm rooting for G2. After, I think I'm rooting for Dumby. And I hope PRX is going to win it all. So hopefully PRX will win, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Bueno, le estuve preguntando también ahora por qué equipo va a animar, por qué equipo va a estar ahí apoyando. Dijo que ahora quiere ver a Dumby la shotgun, cómo la va a estar jugando, pero por otro lado también va a estar por G2 y cree que PRX va a terminar ganando este evento. Así que vamos a ver lo que va a pasar. Esto es todo lo que tengo por la entrevista, pero quiero saber también si es que ha aprendido algunas palabritas rapiditas en español. Have you learned any words in Spanish yet?
Sorry?
Have you learned any words in Spanish yet?
I mean, hola, me llamo Patrick. Vamos, Gentlemates, viva Chile. That's it.
That's perfect. Everyone loves it. Thank you very much, Mini. Esto es todo lo que tenemos por ahora, pero quédense aquí porque seguimos con esta partida increíble. Keep here watching because we have this amazing match going on. So back to you guys. Thank you.
Michael, have you learned any words in Spanish while being here?
Let's discuss this. We can take this offline.
Right, we'll circle back around.
Yeah, circle back around to it.
Perfect. We'll pick it up in
I'll send the invite to you.
Yep, please do. 5 to 7. If you're just tuning back in, there was a real sign of life from Nongshim there. I actually like what Mini brought up as well. Something that I'm quite excited about, the prospect of Danby on that shotgun, but also Jorgamo as well, the original merchant of that business. Can't wait. But we have to pass that point. You absolute misery. Right, it's your route now. Soured my mood.
Slow push here. Nongshim might get caught with the spat. Jorgamo doing a ton of damage, but
Yeah, unconfirmed, but it's there. Valen, does get hindered, but does he get caught? They're trying, Belief. Oh my word, Leaf! Just where the buck stops. maybe shut down towards Valen, or you're really
HP.
pressured it, and you're right, Dambi's on 5, man. Oh dear, it's not a pretty place to be right now.
face. Oh, sure, come on.
Sure. There was a chance. There, but G2, I mean, that's a dreamy pistol. 5 alive, everything good, ticking the box. You're starting to feel the game out a little bit. Lovely, lovely work.
Huge bailout here from Leaf. Catch this.
So worried they'll be able to close down towards Valen.
Yeah, I mean, RB. He's just looking to pressure towards the initial target, being Valen.
You just what?
No, I just got 3 kills, guys.
That's what
guys.
Guys, got 3.
Got 3, guys.
Dambi's got a shotgun. It's not the one I wanted, but...
Well, this is your round now, then.
You know what? You wait to see what he does to Baby Bay.
Okay.
Wait, you just... Oh! I've told lies. I've told big old lies. Baby Bay farming. The new age Eco Cobra is here. And RB... got tread down, but Baby Bay is still just racking him up. He got a bulldog out of it. And he's got maybe a chance for this side. He doesn't have any teammates, though. That's pretty tough. RB.
We take those. We'll plant here.
Making something out of it. 30 HP. I think this one might be done. It's done indeed. Okay, so Bulldog.
Did it go over the edge? Valen's just he's dropped a classic, guys.
Yeah, I think it did. They're having a look.
Of course we'll have a look.
Yeah, let's have a little watch back again. Baby Babe. Man, this guy is farming them up. See if we can spot it being chucked off the map. I don't think so. I don't
think
Jorg
already had one, right? So
yeah. So I guess they lost a little. They made something out of nothing. For Nongshim, though, I need them to look a little bit threatening here. Otherwise, I think G2's just like slow, mechanical, deliberate approach, which is kind of what the coaching staff wanted, right? Is just play to caliber. Let's just kind of be controlled about this. Let's not make silly mistakes. Let's just keep it clean. And they're doing that, right? There's no big X-Factor players standing out above the rest. It's not these mad Trent rounds or jaw popping off. They don't need it.
Particularly here in the second half, we're looking for Francis to play alongside Dambi. Maybe put some numbers up here because in a much slower half in comparison. So you're going to be walking the tightrope in terms of the finances now. Not necessarily going to want to see Nongshim take too many risks until they can establish some sort of control. Have to be conscious here of an awkward purchase from G2. So they're going to be well invested for the follow-up round. Even here, Leaf not facing off against any light shields with that scope.
Yeah, the curiosity about this A main is continuing, right? They've just sent the Aldrome to it. You can see that reapproach from Xros, but now Dambi, I think he's made his mind up. We need to see that 1-2 punch, right? We need to see that synergy between him and Francis to take space and look like they can create issues. So this fake is drawing a couple of players, but at the cost of what? Look at Ivy's HP. Down so low here. And then they're reading that this is a fake. There's no full-up threat. They've already cleared the space.
Baby Bay is posted on an off angle here as well.
And he's got a Phantom.
Yeah, potentially somebody in transition. The drone.
Good to see.
Slow the approach down, but also Baby Bay able to
come back around here. Couple shock darts. He's doing a bit of chip on the way, but Baby Bay's curiosity starting to peak. And Dambi none the wiser. Baby Bay beheads him. And look at this, G2 just fighting back in. RB does manage to control it, at least catch one here, so they are not out of the woods just yet. It's a 3v2. Xros and RB trying to play together here, and it's looking like Xros is going to slip back towards A main. The other 3 actually going to put in the divide. They are going for this one. They see the potential. They see the possibility. And RB can't get away from it. Fated to fall as Xros now trying to play against this. And look at his HP. There is nothing this man can do. And I think he knows it, having to watch that defuse go against him and finally put out of his misery. G2 are crossing the T's, dotting the I's. They are absolutely in control.
I mean, they just fold on this post plant. RB, unfortunately isolated here by the divide, has to go for a bold TP to reposition away. There's no counter swing from main. Just get lost in the chaos here. The last 2 remaining members of Nongshim. No surprise to see a timeout called here after a bit of a fumble and a bonus conversion for G2. Good progress here early on for RB for sure for the TP, but outside of that, you're not seeing the crucial ones you want to see. Between Danby, Francis, potentially. I mean, Valid also now putting numbers up alongside Baby Bay and Leaf. Yeah, not really sure Nongshim got off on the right foot here.
Yeah, and I think
This
that's what
second
worries
half.
me. Just because, does it affect them for the rest of the game? Again, a lot of these players, not a lot, but, well I guess RB, a lot of these players are still relatively new to these environments. Yes, they had a great first game, but a slow start when it feels as kind of oppressive as this is.
When it looks like a team's getting bullied in terms of the macro, that's when you can come back from score deficit, sure, but
absolutely.
when you are just out of the game, you don't get a chance to set up, you don't even have a chance to shoot your gun in
that's
some of
what it
these
feels
rounds.
like.
They're the demoralizing rounds. You can kind of shrug off a 50-50 coin toss. Some of the situations we've seen are just G2 just brute forcing. And that's the harder ones to really deal with.
Yeah, and I think it's going to kind of test the mental of Nongshim when it goes in towards maybe the later rounds here or into map 2, which will be their choice. Obviously, this is G2's map choice, and you'd argue they're one of the better teams at this too. It's a real strong point. Baby Bay in the right place and potentially right time. Looking to try and get one, but no. Core Towers, Danby gets a new lease of life, but quickly traded at the loss of Francis. So you look at the mid lurk, going to be handled again. This is a lighter purchase.
Ivy's so early on there as well. Seen him caught off guard a couple of times in this mid position. Here, an upgrade here, at least there's a rifle in the hands of Nongshim.
Yeah, I guess Extros is the X factor maybe, but they've already cleared close sight and Trent's caught RB. It's Danby trying to put in some numbers here, but swiftly quelled. There's now just Extros, the last one alive. Position now should be known, and it's just simple stuff from G2.
Clinical.
It is sophisticated dominance. It's not even flashy, really. That's the thing. G2 just going about their business today.
Initially get over the first hurdle for sure, but a lesser purchase here. Weapons from G2 just shining a little brighter. Great catch from Danby, but the fact that Jorgamo is able to get in, equalize the head count
so quickly,
and then get away. G2 up to 11 now. Crucial buy round if there's ever been one for Nongshim. Got a little bit left in the bank behind this because of the plant, but Francis sitting at 3 and 14, just
he's not
barely present here in Abyss, to be frankly honest with you.
Yeah, and I think we've seen the potential of Nongshim, and we've seen how good they can be, and that's why we're left a little bit wanting, right? You want a bit more of that, you want to pressure G2, and G2 just look super stable here. Initial denial. Baby Bay not going to let them scale up as they dreamed to, but the second time of asking, it will be Nongshim trying to get that pressure building. Danby, it's the shotgun, but Jorgamo's got you two right back. An even trade out though this time, and maybe with a little bit of brute force, it's going to work for them, but they have to get that spike back, and in the meantime, Trent's caught one. Don't doubt Trent in these.
Well,
does he read Ivy?
Ivy's finally caught somebody in mid. It will be noted initially here, but Trent knife out behind the smoke, and Ivy will punish. Finally finding something in this mid position. Nongshim do enough damage on the site here to spread G2 a little thinner.
Nice to see Danby having a bit of pop-off in this as well. Starting to maybe get himself feeling active in the game. But he had to dig pretty deep for this, because look what Jaw was doing right back to them. So Danby had to go pretty far to claim a little bit of threat on the site. Again, credit in my mind to him. And again, Ivy finding good timing on that middle position, because last time it felt a bit too fast.
He's getting slapped about in mid in the other rounds where Nongshim are prioritizing the extremities here. G2 going forward, so.
Yeah, they want to have a fight here, and Nongshim just going to soak that up. They're going back out. Danby again! Gonna just take away Valent's chances. As Baby Bay left very alone on the B site. Doesn't get caught yet though. So with a new lease of life, maybe Baby Bay can be the one to stop the run. Nongshim at the door. Oh, great trade from Baby Bay. Still alive, still holding the site. 3 kills, the TP, they had to get away from him.
Get the spike down here, plenty of space to play into here for RB. But they failed a few times. These later post plants towards A. Baby Bay and Leaf here. On the approach back towards site, issue being Ivy's disconnected here. And he's got a lot of stall potential. And Baby Bay down to 46 HP.
His commitment is towards that CT side. But the the spike is ticking pretty fast. They're going to have to get it going now. They can try and get half, that would be the dream. They need the block at the bare minimum to try and make this look feasible. They get at least towards half, but that's about it. Oh my God, okay. Gonna catch him on the second attempt of the defuse. Nongshim, not done yet. This is what I need to be seeing. A little bit more fire to them. G2 tried to take matters into their own hands there though, went really aggressive on that.
Really did, almost fed into the fire. And great set piece here. It's unlucky not to catch Dambi on this initial here, but just the sheer paranoia. Then Valen is on an island.
Nothing to be done.
Yeah.
Nothing to be
Without a paddle, basically, in the middle of 4 members of the enemy team. Yeah, maybe a little baffled by the commitment to the execution, but have to shrug it off now. G2, lesser purchase. There's a Bucky, a Stinger, a couple of pistols thrown in the mix.
I just feel if Nongshim get past this round, I don't even want to say cleanly, because I feel like G2 are going to make them work for it. It feels like it becomes possible, right? The game suddenly starts feeling like it's a bit of play into this, but that middle area is an absolute death trap.
I mean, Ivy got support this time at least.
Francis coming back around. Gonna be spotted out by Trent's owl drone. And they continue. And here comes the pressure. Jorgamo hungry for it. Pops the ult! But for only a second. It's Baby the one to draw blood. Okay, this is still keeping me present in this. They've exchanged space, so they will get sight. But look how close G2 are.
Look at the flank coming through as well. Very early on. And leaves the one with the rifle as well.
Nongshim gonna get the plant down for now.
The connection's huge on this
Baby
ultimate.
Bay, he's got 4 potential players here. So many bodies to try and do damage to. Extros though, nice plays out of the smoke, but it's messy. It's given G2 another chance at this. 3 against the 2. Francis and Extros have to keep their composure. Oh God, if G2 just broken them in this scenario, Francis has to fight it out. 7 bullets.
Oh my God!
Brilliant! Oh, he's down to the classic. Francis! He can't do it! Trent! Well in time! Francis with a fumble! Feeling the pressure! As G2's cool, calm and collected approach in the end gets him up to 12.
Just when you think Francis is about to deliver a miracle here, the bait into the classic as well just gets ahead of himself ever so slightly. What a manic round this is as well.
Truly.
So crispy on these first 2. Trent just looking way cooler under the pressure.
Starting to see that pedigree with these G2 boys as well. Starting to get their real form.
Like you were alluding to earlier, that's one that's sort of like the pressure of this stage. Maybe being unfamiliar. Francis the one to try and pave the way here for Nongshim to follow up in round 20.
That's
very early on though.
G2 have everybody on this side of the map here. Plants in.
Oh, they're going aggressive.
Yeah, they're trying to keep space. Bravery, maybe the name of the game, but look at the connection from Trent. He's going to send them scarpering away as G2 flooding back in. Soften targets, but Extros doesn't care. Going to take away Valent, eye up a second. Brilliant work. A third not to be. Jorgamo's there in the blink of an eye, and it's a 3v2. Arby and Ivy make it just. Ivy with the stinger. And standing guard is Trent. Falls on one, but Jorgamo on the trade. G2 looking like they ain't breaking a sweat today, baby. Mr. Charisma showing us what it looks like to pick up map 1 here. 13-7.
adjustment. It's mainly that our practice micro was really off. And I just reminded the boys, like, guys, just calm down. All of our practice plans are working here, and just execute, just keep it calm, and then we'll be better in like the mid to late rounds. And so that's the result. Yeah.
Speaking of plans, are there any major changes that you made for Kuro dealing with Dambi's Neon?
No major changes, just better and refined play.
Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the desk here at lovely Santiago. And so far, that Americas-esque hospitality has been extended to Nongshim Red Force by G2. A great start in this series for that Americas squad, and their showing on Abyss looked fantastic. They did concede a number of, those first half rounds, but winning that pistol, getting going in the second half, I felt like Nongshim at that point had lost their grip on the game.
I feel like the big picture win for G2 was they found that perfect balance between the aggressive style and the discipline. So many rounds where they were playing back, letting Nongshim overfight into them and punishing them. But in the first half, it was all about these fakes.
Yeah, time and time again, we saw it from the pistol with Baby Bay just going in, just dashing in, even finding a kill. But if you look at the map, you saw everybody ready to go onto A. That ended up turning into a Nongshim that ended up over-rotating in so many of these scenarios, and G2 was just forcing them to play their game. So much conditioning that later in the game, Nongshim was put in situations to make very, very difficult decisions.
Yeah, a lot of the struggles, I think, came down to the harbor and how often G2 was absolutely dominating that space on mid, like you're alluding to. But it's also a tendency for Nongshim, not just on this map, but on others to over-rotate. I think of the first 4 or 5 rounds of the Haven game against Mates, where they're over-rotating every time. Mates wins a free pistol and bonus because of it, and they made the adjustment again in this game to flank more, to re-push in the mid-round. But this time, unlike Mates, G2 was extremely ready for that switch-up.
Exactly, not only that, they're ready for the switch-up, and when they go into the side and Ivy's there, they're like, oh, the side is empty, they're pushing from behind. Even in some of those rounds, when they lost to that, just because of the prowess of Nongshim's individuals, they were aware of what was happening.
Yeah, and Mitch, you were asking us about Baby Bay going into this one. I think it's rightfully so that he was the big question. He was very often being asked to solo take these sites, solo fake, and I felt he was having a really great game in it. It's an excellent start from that guy.
Now, G2 obviously move over to defense in the second half of the map after giving up 5 rounds, and this is the moment we wanted to show for you for our HyperX reflex moment of the match. This is Leaf's 3K in round 13. It's a tight game. You've moved over to the defense side, and Leaf gives them just the boost they need.
I think it's so important because the mid fight was another topic. Like, I think G2 had a lot of control from their attack on that part of the map. But when they swapped onto the defense, you have to be so aware of all the tools that Nongshim especially on that Waylay. Valen gets stunned, he moves straight onto the side. Jogama had already had some presence on me, goes mid, goes back, lives supports with that, gets an impressive 3K, and Nongshim is not ready for the amount of players that were waiting for them on that choke.
Yeah, Nongshim was so slow on a lot of these defaults where I didn't feel like they were actually pressuring to create much space. So when G2 ever saw 2 players taking one area, it was very telegraphed that that's where the brunt of the force was from Nongshim, and they rotated very quickly to always punish.
Let's hear from Nongshim Red Force. Coach Anon took a moment to speak with our representative ahead of map number 2.
Jen here with Silkanen of Nongshim. Now, Coach, you guys had a tough time dealing with G2's game plan in map 1. What was the biggest thing you had to address before in map 2?
저희가 1세트 들어와서 이제 아무래도 저희가 이제 예전에 2부 시절 때부터 이제 챔피언스에서 보던 G2라는 좀 강한 팀을 만났다 보니까 저희가 지금 상대를 너무 의식하는 것 같아서 이제 좀 그런 느낌 말고 2세트에 들어갔을 때는 우리 주맵이기도 하고 좀 싸움의 디테일만 좀 더 올려서 들어가자라고 이야기했습니다.
I think on map 1 we were giving them too much respect because, we're playing up against a team that we've been watching when we were in Ascension compete in Champions. So I think that was type of a mental issue, paying them too much respect that we had. But coming into map 2, it is our strongest map, one of the strongest maps. So I think we should have the confidence that we need to push it through. Thank you so much and best of luck.
We've got every reason to have some confidence in a run back here from Nongshim Red Force coming into Corrode. The last time we saw it from G2 at this tournament, it was pretty rough up against PRX, and it is that map where they try and run the ISO. Now, you said you were a little bit suspicious of that comp, but you do feel like the pieces, especially what ISO can offer with that undercard and contingency, can really help G2 assert themselves on the map.
I felt like the problem in the Paper X game wasn't the composition, it was the execution. The micro for G2 was incredibly off. We saw a huge amount of individual errors and also just mechanical issues. Jaw lost seemingly every single fight in the ISO. That was G2 out of sorts. I don't think, though, the theory of this composition is flawed. And in fact, I think tools like the undercut that you're alluding back to there are very nice to completely cut out and execute from a team like Nongchen.
Darby, though, is going to be back on the Neon.
It's Shogamo going to do that. There's no way, right?
I will.
Not the
Yeah,
Brim.
not the Brim.
Don't believe him. Talk about Dombi. This guy's the GOAT. He played so well the last time we saw Nongshim on this map. He decimated mates on Nongshim's attacking side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I'm also looking at Extras. I think that both in the time where they played against mates and also in Abyss, I was expecting a little bit more from him on that stop and power. I think that him and RB were incredible, and probably with this composition, I'm looking at them the most.
A key for G2 looking at this map is flushing IV's lurks. He got way too much value on attack in the game against mates. I want to see them re-clearing space in the mid-round and then going into retakes while giving a bit of respect to Dombi so they're not getting horribly caught off by his Neon.
We're going to be looking to G2 to be experienced in protocols and dealing with this very aggressive style. There's a lot of tape on Darby being aggressive, getting in with those shotguns, and G2 have to maintain that composure to manage it. Time to jump into map number 2. Over to you guys, Pansy and Hypok.
Well, I think the bar's been set, right? The desk talking about it. It's going to be, I want to see one, G2 looking better, on the same page, firing back, looking solid, because when we saw them here, Mike, we were left wanting, well...
A lot more.
Yes, to say the least.
A hell of a lot more.
And I think G2 themselves would feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mimi's kind of nailed this in terms of talking about the micro, right? Where things were going, not necessarily in coin flicks, but in situations where traditionally, historically, you'd see them really excel. They struggled massively previously here on Crowd, but I want to come back to that coach interview in terms of giving too much respect. I don't think that was the issue. I think Nongshim were just extremely sloppy in situations where previously they would flourish and have a player to really drag them online. Danby was trying his damn best, but unfortunately, I've got to see a step up from Francis.
I'm with you on that, because Danby is now on that comfort role, right? Something that's really caught our eye. Let's see if it catches off G2. This guy has been a miracle for Nongshim. And Leaf looking to match him at his own sort of game. Well, he's found one. It's Francis to fall, but Danby right back to business. Going to secure the site for Nongshim. Allow that pod to come through, but he can't overextend here on his own. There's 3 players. The Flash he absolutely eats and has to backpedal away.
Catch here onto Baby Bait, but follow up here. The C's not catching another player, but conscious now of Jorgamo's position. Already held here by X-Ross. Got to win out this fight, and he absolutely does.
Yeah, okay, that's a lovely shot. Good pop flash. Danby, though, going to go down 3. Not gone down at all. I thought he was dead there. But with 32 HP, he succeeds, and there's the level we know he can hit. That's what he needs to be doing. The bar is high for this man.
A chance here, obviously, in the first half for Nongshim to reset the pace a little bit, get back in control of the tempo. See, all eyes on Danby in that regard. Actually, make this shorty. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Shorty!
I guess...
Thank you, Shorty.
Yeah. Is he saying that to Leaf or about Leaf?
To Leaf. Yeah.
At this point, though, obviously G2's economy going to be held in place, only Leaf with a slight investment. So for Nongshim, this is a great start, right? If it was a confidence conversation, this will certainly help, as now Danby wants to go farming. He's got a stinger and every opportunity to do so, but G2 will be warded away, and they do at least get the orb, so that's a nice bit of silver lining for them. As Nongshim will need to start deciding where they want to head here.
Yeah, Leaf playing super deep towards elbow here. Nongshim still trying to piece together exactly what's going on here, but RB will be rewarded for his patience. Catch up to Trent and Baby Bait.
Yeah.
Thin out G2 a little bit. Well, should be next on the cards here. Nongshim looking to progress right on through to B site.
Yeah, and it's a matter in my mind of, well, finding...
my mind of damage here for Leaf.
Yeah, if Leaf can do any more, I'll be quite impressed. Danby, I mean, this guy is dead, is what he is.
Yeah.
He went for it. filter back the weaponry.
Did he get
I
it?
don't know if they got that in the end. Unsure. We'll see. Do see a stinger being chucked about, but I don't know if that was just reinvested by Dumby. But still, the Bulldog certainly remains, so the bonus going to be relatively intact for Nongshim. Leaf did well to actually even do some damage there, to be honest. It felt like that was kind of a closed account, and comfort found by Nongshim. It feels like these last couple of rounds is just building that back up, allowing Dumby to kind of feel out the game a bit, because he hadn't had much play in the first map.
Maybe a turn of pace towards B here, and G2 well equipped to deal with it. Nongshim decide to proceed forwards. The third player effectively positioned here. Confirmation will come through off the flash. We'll draw Leaf back a little closer.
Dumby, well,
what?
I mean, this guy is going to be in your face the
Leaf's
whole
got
time,
two.
but Leaf has been able to catch the players behind him. They focused on that CT side, so Leaf was able to catch and punish. They tried to flood through. Still going, drops to third, but the problem is it's only been Leaf so far. With Baby Bay on that judge, it's going to be brutal trying to build it back through towards the site, but it allows for a trade. Jorgamo going to land it, Dumby's gone down, and Ivy wanted on the site, 2 big kills for himself, makes it a third, eyeing up 4. Jor gonna be walking this. He's been spotted. Shield now gone. Ivy's got the corner to play with and the time on his side. Jor does not care. Doesn't give a damn. But how costly was that?
Ivy trying to get a little antsy here. Trying to play super aggressive, not allow Jorgamo any space to breathe. A crucial headshot found, but you're absolutely right. Costs them almost everything after Leaf finds 3. Great hold from him initially. G2 reading into this bonus attempt very well.
Guys, let's go!
See another judge out for Baby Bay. Trent struggling as well.
I mean, Valen's barely off the
Well,
start block.
yeah, I mean, actually,
0-3.
Leaf does have the pit, so he can happily ride this out with a judge. Jorgamo, if he can right his wrongs from previously, has the desk noted on in terms of the ult usage, the ult value, I will say.
I like the way they're trying to play off that pit, but they feel no pressure back towards it. Very little utility, so they've already adjusted players. Kind of a 3-play position towards mid to an extent. Baby Bay is on more of an island, and he does only have that judge, no shield to complement it. So still a very fragmented purchase. And on the other side, Nongshim do have the advantage in the purchase here themselves. And they've already taken that kind of A main build-up space towards the courtyard. So Joe playing backside here. Going to be checked on and spotted first. Francis teed up for success there. I think Jorgamo may just not expecting that position to already be controlled by Nongshim.
Flash doesn't catch either, so Trent not necessarily reading that Francis is still this close, but opts not to proceed. Pit's actually dropped now outside B. The window of opportunity to pressure towards Leaf on this judging will be identified very early on.
Yeah, but he's still Leaf. He's still standing. He does go down. I thought he was on for the second.
Yeah.
And I think Exros did take a good chunk of damage, but he does get to breathe and they get the site. The plant should be up next. I don't think there's much to deny that. And you look at what they're left with. A stinger with Trent, Baby, no shield and a judge. And RB should hear all of this, and he's got help here. He's got support on that CT crunch, that crossfire on the contact. Should be in play. It's perfect. Nongshim in very much the driving seat here as Baby Bay's opportunities are very slim. Exros the only one who's potentially able to be caught, and I think he knows it. This one's really not playable.
No. Maybe given a chance to find an exit here, do some damage to the overall economy. Not going to have too much of an impact though. You know, ideally want to see RB and Francis slip away. Not going to catch the last player. Low HP Exros. Only real feasible target that Baby Bay had with the judge at that sort of range, so we'll give it up. Didn't even catch the timing on the pit there. Was there some pressure towards Leaf potentially, or was it the pressure over on the other side? Yeah, does he rotate out of the pit? Again, it drops.
Francis is near, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's still kind of flashing and trying to keep some presence on it, but still, I'd hate to see it being just 2 one-sided maps. It just feels like we're not seeing this fight between the 2 of them, right? I want to see a bit more of a reaction from G2. If this kind of falls into the same category that we saw from G2 earlier in the tournament, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Great for Nongshim, but we know that Dumby's good in this role, right? On that neon, kind of playing that super high-tempo, flashy approach.
I mean,
to
yeah, you
QT.
could argue in terms of the reset between maps here, yes, it's back on a comp. And in terms of the tempo, it is ever so slightly different.
Yeah.
see with the Neon, and it's certainly for them how they want to play, right?
Yeah.
Instead of shoehorning something else in, but the Coinbase win condition here for G2 in the timeout. Not much to really pin hopes to, but we'll try and muster together maybe a couple of purchases. Jogwai's still sitting on the ultimate, but nothing else to really invest here. Babybay yet to get on the board.
I mean, neither's Trent, neither's Valen. It's been really, really quiet from them. They feel like they're constantly a little bit behind in my mind when it comes to how Nongshim are approaching this. It is only round 5, so it is still very early. So maybe just kind of, I think I'm a little bit soured from when we last saw G2 here, that I'm seeing what feels like a bit of a similar scene.
A bit of a weird buy actually though, because I didn't even spot that. I mean, I saw Babybay die, but he's obviously full invested back into this. Valen and Trent sitting on 2100 and 1600, so we'll throw the balance of the overall economy in a weird spot here for G2.
Yeah, it feels like they don't want to let go of just ecoing out around, but they are going a bit more aggressive down middle to try and take space, but Nongshim are direct in approach. Not really too fussed about feeling out the purchase when you got Dumby doing this, taking space and taking names, and looking to follow up is Trent on the other side, yet to even really get a ball rolling. I wouldn't even be flashing through that. I don't want him to know I'm there.
I want nothing to do with that.
Screw it, and Leaf has just been warded off the side. He can't even really play on that B side. The Guardian, not enough to really seem that threatening. As now they try and build back up here. Nongshim already looking to react towards that CT side. Dumby again going to drop another body. Find another player to punish as Jorgamo, the one to try and save the day. Dumby doesn't give a damn. This guy is just roaming the site and just taking body after body left in his wake. And Trent's barely moved in this. He sent for the dog. He's done what he could, but Dumby is where the story ends. It's 4 for him.
Babybay retreated very early on in that exchange. Again, brought down to 0 credits now. Tasked with holding on to the rifle, but challenges in spawn, and RB will remove it. Nongshim up to 4 now and starting to hit their stride. Looking to stretch their legs a little bit now. With Dambi on the signature weapon. You were so excited to see, Lauren. 4 kills for him there.
And look at it, you can see why, right? So much confidence. Something that, again, whether we agree or not, they said was lacking in map 1. This time, certainly igniting a bit of that reality that he can make him look like any other player here. As G2 just still chucking in a bit of a purchase.
Frank going to try and challenge here with the Sheriff initially. Identified. Get a connection on the other side of it. Trent now being so careful, but does shut down Dambi.
Kind of caught up there, stunned up. Not in what he wanted to be doing, but still, Joy, you got to lock in on this one, man. Even Mimi saying on the desk there, it wasn't a pretty sight before, but he's done well to make it out of that. And he will be unscathed on the return.
Ivy was looking that way the whole time.
Okay, down to just 2, Exros and Francis. Trying to pick their poison here. They know that Babybay's only on that Sheriff, and maybe considering trying to police the weaponry just for a moment or two. Let it settle as Exros is still trying to cautiously work out a B main. They know that also Jaw is around this area.
Jaw's going to tuck into elbow here.
You can't really overextend.
Yeah, probably happy to concede the plant because he's conscious. Somebody's lurked all the way through top mid here,
the
but
timing.
isolated. The paranoia building in the backlines. Ultimately his demise.
Now, do they get any weapons from this? I don't think from this approach Valen will. There's the upgrade for Babybay. No shield to play with, though. He's going to have to wait a little bit of a second for Valen to get around into a position they can work from. All going to identify
Great
Valen.
investment.
That's
Great
a really good piece of timing on it, too. It keeps them able to focus a little bit towards mid. Eye up CT side. They know there's another player trying to work off this. They've got the drop on Babybay here. Francis on a bit of a deeper corner, but it's red. Oh! That is magic! Absolute magic! We wanted more from Francis. I'll take a bit of that.
Beautiful stuff. And again, this is almost a bigger win for Nongshim considering G2's purchase doesn't necessarily stabilize out of this. G2 teed up to really convert this round.